Welcome to the Hub by Built Environment magazine. We focus on real estate, property management, integrated facilities management, community management, and the PropTech sectors. This is Marisha Singh, the editor. Today, I would like to talk to you about technology. The managers of the built environment are tasked not just with reducing operational expenses, but with achieving strategic health, wellness, and sustainability goals. Now, this shift has accelerated post the COVID-19 pandemic, and 2022 saw building operations come under the spotlight for a variety of reasons. Now, some of them include the carbon footprint of a built environment as well as energy consumption of a facility during its entire operational life cycle. So this has brought the entire supply chain of the built environment together, and back-end operations and maintenance leaders are claiming their rightful seat at the table. So today we are initiating a conversation around the evolution of CaFM. So CaFM stands for Computer Aided Facilities Management Systems. This limited podcast series is powered by Facilio. It explores the barriers for O&M teams to transition into their strategic roles. It also highlights success stories for the new connected CaFM approach. To talk about this and more, we have with us Sumith Sukumaran, Operations Manager, Quality Group. He joins us in Dubai, UAE. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Sukumaran.
Thank you, Marisha. Thank you for having me. I'm glad that I'm part of this ongoing podcast series.
The ask from facilities managers ranges from operation and maintenance to energy management to net zero targets because UAE has stated that it wants to be net zero by 2050. Are the legacy CaFM tools equipped to deliver and aid your KPIs?
Well, in my understanding and in my experience, it isn't the case. Basically, almost all legacy systems run on proprietary communication protocols or are simply not built in a way to function seamlessly across other data management platforms. So that limits their cross-functional communication capability quite a lot, right? And except for the trained backend operators, those systems are usually perceived as a bit complicated in terms of the usability by the field team as well as the end users. So this is a critical issue that challenges the very fundamentals of any CMMS, as any system or database is only as good as the people who uses it. Having effectively designed, easy to navigate user interfaces are very important these days since most field or front-end users access such platforms via smartphones or tablet PCs, unlike the industrial sector where the user interfaces are mostly designed to be accessed via proprietary PDAs or personal computers, for instance. Right? Similarly, these systems are huge, like very huge. So scaling up or down various functionality modules are very limited, which makes them relatively expensive, heavy to operate, and resource intensive. So I do not think that the current legacy systems available in the market are capable of that. And especially with the advancement in affordable AI technology and IoT, digitization of almost all functions across all industries are being executed in a much faster pace than ever before. So yes, absolutely no.
What happens when organizations continue to use these platforms? I mean, how do you have business risks or losses that affect your business?
See, for almost all businesses, having a comprehensive user experience that seamlessly integrates with various processes of the business functions under one digital ecosystem is becoming a need than a want. So it's not a choice anymore. Whether it is your front-end user or your back-end administrative user, so all of them have to be basically feeding one ecosystem where the results of various approaches are seen by the associated parties. Now, unfortunately, this cannot be achieved by the conventional approach with legacy tools, as almost all of them were designed to function in an isolated manner. As a result, legacy systems cannot achieve this until and unless a total overhaul from scratch is done, which is obviously a very, unpractical approach, and yet the results might not be the desired ones. So this is one of the biggest challenges for the businesses who are using any systems of that sort at the moment. Plus, as the databases get bigger, like across various functions, since these systems function in an isolated fashion, fetching, migrating, and mapping those data without errors to a single environment might get complicated and very resource intensive with time. So, as the whole saying goes, the sooner the better to shift to something, something that is more flexible and comprehensive. At the same time, on the flip side, we have to also think about the security, data security, because when more functions are integrated and more functions are online, so are the risks associated to the data security. So therefore, it is very crucial to partner up with a well-made platform that can maximize the system security and avoid any unpleasant data breaches or associated incidents. So yeah, those are pretty much the complications in a nutshell.
Okay. And you mentioned that we have data gathering at scale. So could you give me an example about the losses that could be associated with continuing to use a legacy system when you have so much data being gathered and not being used optimally?
So basically, the data that are related to a specific function in a specific legacy system will be formatted in a specific way. Okay. And that might not be readily compatible with data that belongs to different function or a different system. Right. Now, when we talk about data, those could be thousands of, entries that cannot be practical to check manually without causing much errors. Now, as it gets bigger, the process becomes more and more resource intensive. More people are needed to get it done. So that is a direct impact on the resource cost that is needed and the time taken to get it done. Because once you're migrating to a different data system, there are obviously certain mobilization costs. Now these costs also gets increased. So these all factors get way more amplified when the database or the system is older. So the older the system is, these costs get quite amplified. So yeah, the sooner the better.
The business risk directly affects the bottom line of a company.
Absolutely, because that is going to have a direct impact on whatever processes that are going on. So yes, for sure, it is going to impact the bottom line.
Okay, so you've mentioned drawbacks and the challenges. So could you take us through your decision to switch to a modern CaFM system? What capabilities most impacted your choice and which system did you decide on?
Okay, so like many other counterparts, we were also using an in-house CaFM platform in the past. And after realizing its critical shortfalls, I must say critical shortfalls, because some of those shortfalls were very, very, unfortunate to be there in the so-called CaFM systems, right? And those were affecting the business adversely. I made it very clear to every key stakeholder about the need of an overhaul. So the choice was to either overhaul the existing system, and we estimated the associated cost, and that was horrendous. Right? So it needed a large IT team to work on developing an entirely new system. And we looked at other systems in the market. So it was not an easy task and took a while to complete all these pros and cons analysis. And we evaluated several service providers across the local and global markets for almost 6 to 7 months in the year 2019. And that was when we came across Facilio, and it made an immediate impression. The system made an immediate impression. We realized that the system had almost all the capabilities that we were looking forward for. So basically, the fundamentals of all CaFM systems are the same. However, we wanted something that can adapt to the way we operate as a business, not the other way around. So the ability of Facilio to customize almost all the workflows without affecting the system fundamentals has been the most important factor for us in decision making. And similarly, the reports were very, very informative, and it took very minimal efforts to to be customized, generated, and shared across various channels. This is a great advantage across all personnel using the system, irrespective of their roles. So it could be an engineering personnel, it could be a finance personnel, it could be a procurement, administrative personnel. So because all of them will be able to generate the reports that they want to make their lives easier. They had all the inbuilt capabilities of all the IoT and energy management, plug and play, abilities that made it quite future proof. So their modular approach to scale up or scale down the functionalities made it a fantastic financial choice, in which we were only paying for what we were actually using. Unlike in most legacy systems, we buy a bulk system and we hardly use like 80% of it, So those were pretty much the key factors that affected our decision making.
I would like to list out some possible criteria that are impacted by modern CaFM systems, and could you rank them for me as per your priority list? So the first one is value for different stakeholders. The second one is process improvements, and the third one is interoperability.
Well, it is a twisted question since all of those parameters are not really isolated from each other. However, if I were to choose them in sequence, then I would pick the process improvement first, then the interoperability, and obviously finally the value for different stakeholders, because it's all connected basically.
Yeah. Actually, it cascades down, right? If you have a process improvement and it's interoperable, you actually create value for your stakeholders.
Absolutely. So that's my whole point is.
Yeah. Okay. So moving on, how did you measure the success of your new CaFM implementation? Could you give us an example of how it connected the people, process, and systems?
We migrated to the system in the year 2020 during the COVID pandemic had just begun. Okay, so the system played a crucial role in ensuring seamless delivery of services despite of the office lockdowns and other unforeseen challenges. From the field staff to the senior management personnel, everyone had real-time insights to what was going on at their respective scopes, despite of the remote work situations. That was a great advantage through Facilio for us, especially at a crucial time like that. In a nutshell, once we migrated to the system, we immediately saw a steep drop in tenant escalations to over 80%. That was whopping. The reactive call volumes got reduced in the range of 20 to 30% across all the properties. Preventive maintenance compliance and asset life optimization has steadily improved since then. Staff efficiency and work environment satisfaction has significantly improved because which is evident with the smiles on people's faces and the lessened amount of stress they used to undergo, when you relate it with the past. So yeah, those were our, success implementation metrics.
Could you give me a picture about the overall transformation at Quality FM when you switched to this system? I mean, because you mentioned staff. Is there anything else that has transformed at Quality FM with the implementation of the system?
Basically, our operational efficiency, our financial performance, our customer satisfaction, our environmental, sustainability goals, those are all improved quite a lot after because in the past we were doing all these things. As you know, most companies do all these things, but the thing is that those are not optimized, and that's where the trouble begins. So with Facilio, we really got the chance to optimize them and make them much better than what was in the past. And obviously, we have data from our past, from the previous systems, and that's a very direct comparison, which is readily available. So, yeah.
Thank you so much for this insight. That was Sumith Sukumaran of Quality FM providing his experienced perspective of engaging with CaFM systems.
Thank you.